Welcome back to Stooge Stream. I'm your host, the Stooge, and this is It Worth Playing, our Shmups special featuring Giga Wing. If you haven't played Giga Wing, it was an arcade game, also ported over to the Dreamcast, published by Capcom, developed by Tukami Corporation. I may be pronouncing that wrong, and I apologize if I did. This is a vertical scrolling shooter, much like your old 1942s and so forth, that type of setting of screen. Like most shmups, you have two buttons, one to shoot, one to use your bomb, which clears out the screen. The cool thing about this game, not only is the art style and direction, it's set in a fictional steampunk war setting in the future. So the art style is really nice. The sprite work and background work is fantastic. The scrolling is great. You never feel like too much is happening, even when it's bullet hell madness, because everything is so well defined. You can see everything really well. The really cool thing about the graphics as well is that makes the game stand out from other games in the vertical the vertical scrolling shmup shooting genre. A lot of shooters, of course, are set in different realities, world settings to make them stand out. Something like R-Type, for instance, looks very sci-fi-ish, very futuristic. You have Paradis, which is a parody of the Gradius series. Gradius, which has giant fish enemies, and Paradis has cute little sprites and it's what's called a cute 'em up, I guess. Well, Giga Wing is definitely not a cute 'em up. It's its own thing with really nice art style that again does make it stand out. There's a couple of different ships you can use, and they all have different shooting styles and different upgrades. There's a nice upgrade system where your guns do upgrade, you get options and so forth. Overall, it does have a very standard, what you'd expect from a shmup these days package. Now, every shmup tries to have a hook or a catch or something to help it stand out, and Giga Wing is no different. The hook in this one is that you do have a shield that you can charge. It takes a second or two to become active, but then you can use it to reflect bullets back. So in moments of bullet hell madness, when the whole screen is filled with these pink or blue bullets just going crazy everywhere, charging up your shield at the right moment to knock all of those bullets back and destroy the enemies, and getting out of the way is absolutely imperative. So it's a really cool risk and reward system as well, because while you charge, you can't shoot. And it does take a second or two. So when this wave of bullets starts coming towards you, you need to judge, do I have time to charge up my shield to knock back these shots? Do I have time to, if not, do I have to use a bomb to just clear everything off screen? There is a good risk and reward there in the shield system. It's very cool hook, actually, and makes the game feel different from other shmups. Most shmups, unfortunately, well, a lot of the generic ones feel exactly the same. Like once you've played one, you've played them all. The ones that stand out are the ones that do try something a little bit different. Things like Blazing Lasers with its upgrade system, or even R-Type with its upgrade system. Paradis with its cutesy art style. Like, things have to stand out in some manner for shoot 'em ups to be worth playing. If not, there's a billion of them out there. Well, Giga Wing definitely gives you that. It's got a great learning curve. The first few levels are quite easy and gives you a chance to get the hang of the shield system, as well as moving from, for instance, a shield to reflect a whole lot of bullets on a boss, then a bomb, moving out of the way of his next shot while you charge up your next shield because the cooldown has gone through now. It's a really cool little system, and I really enjoyed playing with it and learning how to use it properly. It's something that does, again, take a little bit to learn, but the game gradually ramps up. So the first, say, 2 or 3 levels aren't too bad. When you're making your way through the 7 stages, it gets to about stage 4 or 5 when the difficulty ramps up. And of course, by the end, it's a bullet hell nightmare, which you'd kind of expect. There's multiple endings to the game as well, which gives you a reason to replay the game. And being the fact that it is on the Dreamcast, both Giga Wing 1 and 2, great shooter for the Dreamcast system, which had quite a number of shooters actually, but this one really stands out. I do own both Giga Wing 1 and 2 for the Dreamcast myself, so I love playing them. I am a shmup fan. I'm not the best shmup player in the world, but it doesn't mean I can't have fun. And when you get a good shmup, you do have a lot of fun, and this definitely has the fun factor. The way the levels are built has you facing a mini boss about halfway through, and then an end boss at the end of the stage. This really ramps up the action as you're working your way through, because it's your normal waves of enemy. Then you hit a mini boss that you've got to completely change how you've been playing, because he will attack you in different patterns. Get through another few waves of enemies, then you get to the big boss of that stage, who will have completely different attack patterns again, meaning you have to change up your playstyle again to be able to beat him. All of the bosses are quite fun too, both mini and big bosses, or last bosses. None of them feel particularly unfair, which is a great balance in a shmup, because you do get to some bosses in a shmup, or even some levels, where the odds are just so ridiculously stacked against you, it's crazy. You have to have the best lightning fast reflexes in the world, known to man in the world. You have to have memorized every single little piece just to get through. Giga Wing doesn't do that. It gives you patterns that you can learn, and even when it does ramp up to bullet hell difficulty in the 6th and 7th stage, when you start learning how to use the shield system, and then link it with a bomb, or link it with a getting out of the way, or whatever the case is, at no point does the game make it completely unfair. You have the tools to get out of every situation at your disposal. You just need to learn how to use them, which is really good. Being able to balance that difficulty while continuing to be fun and hooking you in the systems and mechanics of the game make this just a really good shooter. So let's pretty much get to the end of our is it worth playing now with our overall. Is this worth playing? Absolutely. If you have it in an arcade, if you still have arcades, because we barely do here in Sydney anymore, definitely play it. If you've got a Dreamcast, it's not the cheapest game in the world, but you can usually pick it up for a fair price. So it is one worth looking out for a Dreamcast collector. There are other ways of playing arcade games that we all know through emulation and so forth. If you're someone that's into emulators, then this is definitely one to give a go to. Are you going to come back to this over and over? Yeah, I think you are, especially if you are a shoot 'em up fan and you're looking for something a little bit different. It's not, as I said, the most difficult shoot 'em up in the world. You will finish it fairly easily. But the variety that it offers you, the fact that it offers you multiple endings, the fact that you've got multiple ships to try out with different attack patterns and so on, all makes this worth coming back to over and over and over. So the cost, as far as buying it on Dreamcast, is definitely worth it, because you will get your money's worth out of the game. One thing I did forget to mention is the sound work in the game. It's not bad. It's just kind of generic-ish. It's, again, I say this all the time, but it's not a musical soundtrack that's going to get stuck in your head a la Mario 1-1, but it isn't bad either. Sometimes the best music just blends into the background, and it kind of does that. The sound effects are really sharp, are really nice, but again, they're nothing spectacular or special, but it is definitely worth it. It's nothing bad is in this game, and if you enjoy shoot 'em up, I say pick this up. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Also, we're giving away an Atari 2600, which is AV modded on the channel currently. There'll be an annotation in the video somewhere that you can click on and go watch that video and find out how you can enter to win that console or one of the other 4 prize packs we're giving away, including a whole lot of Atari 2600 games. I've been your host, The Stooge, and we'll be back with more Is It Worth Playing soon.